So you see your dog lapping up water from their bowl, and you probably feel pretty good, right? Thinking, yep, my dog's hydrated. But what if that's not the whole picture? What if I told you your dog could be drinking tons of water and still be suffering from this hidden thirst, a kind of thirst that's actually dangerous and could even be shortening their life? We're going to get right into it. Just look at this. On one side, you've got a dog that looks, well, just plain off, kind of tired, dull coat, just not happy. And then on the other side, same dog, but now they're vibrant, full of energy, just glowing with health. So what gives? What could make such a huge difference? It's usually not what you think. It's often something invisible, a problem that's brewing deep inside their body, totally silent. All right, section 1. We're about to pull back the curtain on this hidden problem. This isn't just about your dog being a little thirsty. No, this is something way more serious. A kind of thirst that a full water bowl just can't touch. So, what are we talking about here? The culprit has a name: cellular dehydration. And here's the key thing to understand. It's not about the water in your dog's blood. It's about water not being able to get inside the actual cells. I mean, think about it. When the cells themselves are literally starving for water, the whole body's operating system just starts to, well, crash. It's a straight line from there to organ failure and a really steep decline in their health. So why is this a big deal? I mean, it's just cells, right? Well, in this next part, we're going to see exactly why it's so critical. We're going to look at the chain reaction, this cascade of failures it sets off inside the body. Let's zoom in and see what's happening right inside the cell. First things first, all the little chemical factories in the body, they just grind to a halt. You know, every single thing your dog's body does, from making energy to getting rid of toxins, it all depends on these tiny workers called enzymes. And guess what enzymes need to do their job? Water. Without water inside the cell, they're useless. The basic machinery of life just stops. And then things get even worse. The wall of the cell itself starts to change. See, a healthy cell wall is supposed to be soft and flexible, letting good stuff in and bad stuff out. But when it's dehydrated, it gets hard. It basically turns into a tiny prison. It locks out all the crucial nutrients, and maybe even scarier, it traps all the toxic garbage inside. And, well, this is where it all leads, the final devastating step. When enough of these individual cells in really important places like the kidneys, the heart, the brain, when they all start shutting down, the organs themselves start to fail. So you see, we're not talking about a minor little problem here. This is a direct threat to how long and how well your dog lives. Okay, I know that all sounds pretty scary, I get it, but here's the good part. There's something you can do. You can basically become a pet detective right now from your own couch. This next part is your official toolkit, a super simple 10-point checklist that's going to help you spot those early warning signs before they become a big problem. So let's start with the obvious stuff, right? The clues you can see just by looking at your dog, plus a couple of really easy physical checks. It's time to put on that detective hat and just observe. Okay, here are the first 3 things to look for. First up is what vets call the skin turgor test. All you do is gently lift the skin on the back of your dog's neck. If it snaps right back down, fantastic. But if it goes down kind of slowly, almost like molasses, that's your first red flag. Next, run your hands through their fur. Does it feel dry, brittle? Does it lack that healthy shine? That's clue number 2. And finally, take a good look at their eyes. Do they seem kind of sunken in or just dull? That's your third clue right there. All right, detective, ready for your next set of clues? For this one, we're going to have to get a little personal and look inside your dog's mouth. Believe it or not, their gums are like a little diagnostic dashboard that can tell you a ton about what's going on inside. So 3 things to check in here. First, just gently touch their gums. They should be slick, smooth, and wet. If they feel sticky or tacky to the touch, that's a classic sign of dehydration. Second, check out the color. You're looking for a healthy, bubblegum pink. If they're really pale or a really deep, dark red, that can signal trouble. And third, this one's super important, it's the capillary refill test. Just press gently on the gum with your finger until it turns white, then let go. That pink color should rush right back in less than 2 seconds. If it takes longer than that, that's a pretty big warning sign. Okay, on to our last batch of clues, and these are all about changes in your dog's daily habits and their behavior. You know, sometimes it's the really subtle shifts that tell you the most, so you've got to be paying close attention to their normal routine. So think about this. Is your dog suddenly sleeping way more than usual?
Or maybe they're dragging their feet, refusing to go on walks they used to love. That's lethargy. What about food? Are they ignoring their dinner bowl, even if they're still drinking water? That's another check. Keep an eye on their urine, too. If it's a dark yellow or even brownish color, that means it's super concentrated. And lastly, are they panting a lot, even when they're just resting and it's not hot out? That shallow breathing can be another sign something's up.
Okay, you've gone through the checklist, you've made your observations. So now what? What does it all mean? This next part is all about decoding your results. We're going to turn what you saw into a clear, simple action plan. It's actually pretty simple. We've broken it down into 3 levels. If you ticked off just 1 to 3 of those signs, think of it as a mild alert. This is your cue to start getting more fluids into them. More water for sure, but also maybe some moisture-rich foods. Now, if you found yourself checking 4 to 6 boxes, that's a moderate alert. This means cellular dehydration is probably already happening, and just giving them more water isn't going to cut it. And if you checked 7 or more signs, that's an urgent alert. The risk of organ damage is very real, and this is the point where you need to get some professional advice, and fast. So, if just giving them more water isn't always the answer, then what is? In our final section, we're going to talk about how to truly rehydrate your dog. We're talking about a deep fix, getting right to the core of the problem. And this right here, this is the absolute key. It's a game-changing insight from vets who really get this stuff. The goal isn't just to throw more water at the problem. The goal is to rebuild the cell's actual structure so it can hold water again. See the difference? The issue isn't a lack of water around the cells, it's that the cells have lost their ability to absorb it. So the real mission is to fix the cell itself. This visual just says it all, doesn't it? On the left, you've got that sad, shriveled, dehydrated cell. But on the right, look at that. It's plump, it's full, it's healthy, and it's soaked in that life-giving water. That's the transformation we're aiming for. And it only happens when that cell wall is repaired, letting water finally get back inside where it's desperately needed. So really, here's the big takeaway. True hydration, it's not about just pouring more water into your dog. It's about restoring the cell's own ability to absorb and hold on to that water. You have to get the cell to act like a sponge again instead of a hard little rock. It's all about fixing the problem from the inside out. So now you know. You know the signs of cellular dehydration, and you understand why the health of the cell itself is so important. You actually have the power to intervene, to help make their cells vibrant and full of water again. You can literally help turn back their inner clock. And it all starts with what we talked about today, just paying attention. Because a little bit of observation can make an absolutely massive difference in your best friend's health and happiness.